Hello, everyone.
Hello! Welcome
Today,
to this Monday edition. Somebody must not have headphones on. No, we all do. I don't know. There's echoes. We're fine. How's it going out there, guys?
yeah, we're here with an actual StreamCast today with things working.
Don't jinx it.
Well,
Last time it worked for 20 minutes.
but we are lucky today. We're here to talk about Galaxy's Edge. Some friends who have been there since neither of us have.
Right.
So,
Gonna transition in.
yes,
You
you
guys
want to
want
introduce our friends or them introduce themselves?
Would our friend with the cat like to start?
Hi, I'm Georgie. Yeah,
Okay.
it's my cat.
Does the cat have a name?
It's a loth cat. No, I haven't named it yet.
Oh, well, if we think of something good, we'll let you know.
Someone will have to give me a name. Give me a name.
Oh man. And then we have
Mariella or Sapphire.
It's great to have you guys here. Thank you so much for coming in to chat with us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, Carlos has noted that the Loth Cats have been selling out. I imagine they're a big item.
I'm glad I got it because we went on the first day, so I'm glad. I was like, I need this. And then when I heard it sold out, I was like, yes.
I got a porg because porgs.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of porgs.
You have a lot of porks.
I run the apartment of misfit porgs.
I love it.
The
All right,
official title.
So, how can you in like a sentence tell us how it was?
I was in Star Wars.
You were right?
Like that's the best way I could describe it because it's like true when you're there, you feel like you're in Star Wars.
Right.
Like, I thought I was fairly put together. I mean, because I'd been doing research on this and I'd read all the books, that had little things about Batuu and Black Spire Outpost beforehand, but yeah, it turns out that as I walked up to the Falcon and it was right there in front of me, I burst into tears, just like yeah. With a cameraman in my face. No, I'm like, great. So someone at Disney has footage of me sobbing hysterically at the Falcon. Thanks, Disney.
Were you there opening day also, or was
opening day? And I was in the first group, so we had a whole line of like cast members, including like the Imagineers and Scott, the head guy, and the president of Disneyland, wandering around and. A million cameras following interesting looking people, so it was pretty crazy.
That's nuts.
And apparently 2 basketball players who I had no idea who they were, only they walked by, being accompanied by one of the VIP guides, and I was like, those have to be professional players because normal humans are just not that tall. Right. And I know very tall humans.
Oh man,
when you guys went in, did they guide you to the cantina?
They
or, like,
kind
to the
of
Falcon.
Yeah, they kind of snaked us towards the Falcon when we went in, because but the first group actually goes in through the middle entrance right now with the reservation system. So the second time I went, I was in an 11 o'clock group, so we went in through the Critter County entrance, so you go in through the Resistance side. Okay. Which was good, because my first day, we never even made it to the Resistance side, and by the time we thought about it, it was actually like past our time, and they were like, this is an entrance only, you have to go out this other way. So we were like, okay, no Resistance space for me today.
That's just nuts.
Because when we were going in, they were guiding us to the Falcon from the Resistance side.
Mm-hmm.
But my I needed to get a lightsaber, so we just like dipped from where they were taking us, and I walked up to this guy and I was like, where do you build the lightsaber? And then he was like, shh, keep it on the down low, is right there. And I was like, oh, okay, my bad. So
Oh,
then we
see.
went straight here for this.
Unlike Georgie, after I stopped crying over the Falcon, I went up and around towards where I knew Savi's would be, but there were various cast members who were clearly from doing different work on Black Spire, and some of them were wearing like junker, scrapper smocks, and I walked up to one of them and said, would you happen to know where I could get some scrap metal? And his face totally lit up, and he was like, go down those stairs. Be careful that the First Order doesn't see you.
Oh my god.
Oh man. For the day I finally get to go, I thought about wearing like First Order stuff, but like with a resistance shirt underneath, so I could like walk up to people and be like, "I'm secretly with you," just to have fun with it.
Oh, I suspect that V will get Vi. I gotta get used to calling her Vi. Vi will totally get a kick out of that. That's actually one of the most amazing parts, is that they literally have Vi Moradi walking around, and like she's like sneaking through the First Order controlled area, hiding, asking kids and other people to help hide her from First Trooper agents. I accidentally just blurted her name out loud, and she came over and she was like, excuse me, do you have some business in this area? And I panicked, and then I just yelled, ignite the spark! And then she smiled and went, light the fire.
I love it. Oh, I just get so giddy hearing about all of this.
It's really cool that this character who started out in a book is like now just walking around, being herself.
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, for those we have in the chat who might not be familiar, Vi, which I always pronounce V, and now I have to get used to calling her Vi, comes from the novel Phasma by Delilah Dawson, which up until Master and Apprentice was my favorite Star Wars novel. So I highly recommend it. And Master and Apprentice only wins because it's cheating. So, yeah, I highly recommend that novel, and it's great to see a book character come to life, and just from that. But
yeah, and then this August, I have an arc here. Delilah's Black Spire comes out, starring her. This is what she looks like at the parks, even.
Oh
Yeah,
man, you got an arc. I want to read that so bad. I'm so excited.
None of you are ready.
I bet.
I was reading it basically on the flight home, and it was just bonkers, as you know, as she gets to the planet and starts trying to meet people and finish, do the mission that Leia has sent her on, and you're like, oh my goodness, there she is, she's walking past the street that I walked on over to the marketplace, and I'm just like, I was right there. It's really, really something else.
That's so cool. I love that. I personally like that there's all this tie-in material.
I love it.
Yeah. So, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and I like that. Well, we've got like right now the tie-in material that's tied to the specific time frame that we are visiting, that we've had tie-ins that take place at different time periods, because Black Spire's been around for so many years. So it's got ties, it turns out, to the prequel era and to when the Empire was around. And, Doc apparently has been running his Den of Antiquities for who knows how long. So he's got all sorts of stuff in there.
That's so cool.
That was a really, really clever setup on their part, not just story-wise, but also merchandising.
Yeah, right. Merchandising. Spaceballs, the lunchbox.
Exactly.
So, and then Georgie, you've got your saber there. What was? And I know that was what you were really excited to see. What can you tell us about the process of saber crafting?
So like it's supposed to be a secret, obviously, because when I asked the guy, he was like, "Shh, it's a secret." And then like you pay and you pick which one you want to build outside, and then
you get a pin that matches it.
and you get a
Okay.
pin. Yeah, and then they give you like
sorry,
a group.
scrap metal.
Scrap metal.
Scrap metal.
Right.
And then like there's a time where they start taking in groups, and then you go with other people who are building the same kind as you. And when
Mhm.
you're inside, you're like, you feel like you're just inside like a junkyard kind of a shop. And when it's time to build yours, they bring a tray with all the pieces, and you can choose what piece you want to put where.
That's cool.
And you really feel like it's really immersive. It's like hard to explain how immersive it is. It's great.
Someone described it as a lightsaber speakeasy, and besides as we pointed out, the don't tell anyone, or avoid the first order. They've also when they were bringing in my group, they were like, hurry, we have to get everyone in while the patrols aren't coming by. And there's kind of like this urge, it's not like they're like rushing you to make it, but there's a built-in urgency to it, because they want you to experience this, magical moment. But they also know that the first order is, right outside. They're over at docking bay 9. So there's kind of this, it's like this, it ends up being like this, like half mystical, half like incredibly secretive rebellion kind of a thing. So yeah, Georgie made the elemental version, and I made the protection and defense, which is designed to be like made out of ancient things with the Force, so no one knows what the glyphs on it mean, because it's apparently that old.
That's
and
really cool.
I'm a dork, so.
So why did you guys pick your particular kind of lightsaber?
I wanted to go just for whatever was the weirdest that I hadn't really seen. I don't know. I saw a tooth and I'm like, that's mine. And then purple, why not? I don't know, because it was that simple for me. It's just weird.
Fair.
I got it.
You just felt the stirrings in the Force, and that's what it led you to.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like the idea of going back to who knows, some kind of the fundamentals before the Jedi Order became codified, kind of an idea. So I just so a little bit closer, I guess the idea between Georgie's is you're closer to nature, and this one I guess closer to the ancient ways of the Force. And I of course went with blue because
nice.
It's my brand.
There you go.
But as we haven't mentioned, of course, these are the customizable ones, are the ones where you can take out the crystals and then replace it with all the different colors. So you too. What colors did I get? Let's see. We've got white. We've got green. What else do we have in here? We got some purple. We got. Let's see.
Really,
some
really
yellow.
I know you would both appreciate this. I would like to say that Numidian Prime is in the chat, so perhaps
Happy birthday, Marv!
Happy
birthday, Marv!
Happy birthday!
Look forward to not seeing you in August.
Exactly.
Okay, we can continue on with
They're trying right now to make it so that you can only buy one of any item per person, just to try and keep people from buying a zillion things and then selling them on eBay. So when I'm buying all the crystals, she's looking at them and going, okay, as long as each one is a different color. And I'm like, it's a rainbow. Woo-hoo!
Oh yeah, no, I'd want one of each, because I'd want one of each, not for eBay. But you to get the more exotic colors, you have to go to other parts of the park. Yeah.
Yeah, these are all Doc Ondar. Ondar, because when you go and actually at Savi's, they basically have we call them the movie ones, the green and the blue and the purple and the red. And without giving away too much, they do go into other people who have wielded similar crystals and kind of what not necessarily the crystals, but what those particular Jedi or Sith stood for. And they do quite a range.
There was some name drops where I was like, what?
Yep, and they're not all movie name drops either.
Ooh.
And then, but supposedly these which have only shown up on TV shows so far, they underestimated how many people would be like, I want you, I want white, and they are sold out and have been sold out for almost a week.
Nice. I'm glad I got them then.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine too, because I mean, yeah, when the park's been open for 2 years, maybe not as many people would want white or yellow, for symbolic reasons, but, like, anybody who's making the effort to get there in the first couple of weeks is gonna know.
Yeah.
And then
I feel like
you've just got people who, like, as much as purple is special, they're like, well, people have been making purple lightsabers with the plastic build a lightsaber for ages. Not many people have yellow.
right.
So
That's true. That's very true.
yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, I've been following along. People going, are the yellows and whites in back? Are the yellows and whites back in?
Now, so in current canon, the process of getting a red lightsaber crystal is a little bit different than in Legends. Is there any kind of, say, shade thrown? Is there judgment towards those who would make a red saber during this process?
There's a little there's a bit of a thought of think you should think about this clearly. I know some people who have gone to buy like legacy Vader blades
Yeah.
from Doc Ondars have been given a chance to hold it first to see if they're strong enough to wield such power.
I love it.
So let's just say some of the merchants seem to know that there's some danger to this, and they try to warn you. They're not going to stop you; it's your choice, but they do give you a little bit of a warning that path could get dangerous.
That's
It's
pretty cool.
funny because like when you're building your lightsaber, you know how Mario said that they like kind of explain each one, people who have wielded it, and there's like a little bit of talk of each. So then after the red one, and like when you get to choose, I was like, oh dang, you guys really still went with red.
I love it.
Also, Ian, shut up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I wasn't sure if you guys were reading chat.
And again, we don't want to spoil too much of what happens. I mean, if you really want to, it's on YouTube. But what happens, but like one detail that I don't think is a giant spoiler to tell you, but it's cool, is the when they have you choose your crystal, they bring out canisters that are very similar to like what the Empire was using to transport kyber crystals in Rogue One.
Cool.
So they still like tie it into like, these are potentially dangerous crystals and we have to treat them very carefully. And so there's just lots of little details that some people will just go, this looks Star Warsy, and other people will be like,
I freaked out when I saw that because it's like it looks the same. So then it's like there's like a little handle, and they like pull it out, and then all the cybers are there, and I was like, "What?" I was just freaking out. I was like, "Yes, Rogue One love in this part."
Oh yeah,
I love it. That's so cool.
I know some people have been like, oh, there's just so much sequel trilogy there, but again, they created this location because since it hadn't already existed in a movie or something like that, it wasn't necessarily tied to a specific event in your mind at that time. And so again, we don't actually know how long the Gatherers have been there, collecting this stuff. They've clearly been there for a while, and again, they're getting stuff that looks really recent. Like you can build a lightsaber that looks a lot like, a typical Jedi that you saw, and ancient, and again, like the canisters match Rogue One. There's little bits here and there that all call back to the wide galaxy, and the fact that we've already just in the movies alone have had like 60 years of stuff, and it even calls back to more things that are older than that, because goodness knows the galaxy is older than that. Our galaxy is older than that,
right?
And this is a long time ago. So
and I mean, you make a good point there. So I've seen a lot of stuff coming in and out of Doc's shop. He's got a lot of interesting masks behind him that tie even into the shows and comics.
Oh, totally. I'm only sad I didn't get to go. I really wanted to go back into Doc's shop to get a better view, because I don't even know how long it's going to take me just to see how much stuff he has between his personal collection and even the stuff for sale. And once the second group started showing up at 11, because right now with the reservations, there's always at least an hour overlap. There would be a line to get into Doc's, and I'd be like, Oh, I want to go back. So my number one goal next time I go is to finally get inside the cantina, but going back to docks and actually taking in docks instead of just desperately shopping there.
Right.
Definitely, because like I go and be like,
I want.
oh wait,
Yeah,
I need to get
that's
that
what I
holocron.
Yeah.
I want the. That's the thing too. Is it's because the holocrons are cool. The holocrons interact with each other. They've put so much thought into all of this. No, did either of you get to ride the Millennium Falcon?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So let's first of all let's talk about the most important thing, which is Hondo. Was
Yes.
amazing to be in the presence of Hondo.
We're hired by Hondo. We are his temporary contractors.
Oh yeah. Because online and before, like a celebration when they showed off the animatronic, I was like, all right, like it's interesting. But then I saw him in person, and I was like, wow, I want to give him a high five or something. Like, it was so cool.
I want to give him a hug.
I totally
And
agree.
like,
I love
he was
Hondo.
so funny too. Like, he's just Hondo, and it was so perfect because it felt like it was actually Hondo.
Well, and
He's
for
so
me,
Hondo.
yeah, and I mean, like, because Hondo showed up in Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and he's been with us through Rebels. I'm still holding out he could show up in Resistance. I don't see how they don't.
He might. I mean, he showed up in some of the framing Forces of Destiny stories with Maz.
Yeah,
and she's telling all those stories in the past tense. So, and some involve Rey and Finn and Rose. So, he's. I mean, even before we found out that he was going to be like this big a deal with Galaxy's Edge, we've established, no, this guy's still kicking. He's a survivor.
Yeah. And then for those who've read Pirate's Price, which is George's new favorite book.
Yes, I love it so much. Go read it.
So much he hasn't finished it.
Okay, shut.
But that book, of course, ends up establishing why the Falcon is there under Hondo's care. And
Hondo's love of porgs.
And Hondo's love of porgs.
The ride kind of also tells you a little bit, or actually, I don't even remember. Never mind.
That's fine. I don't know that I'd be able to process anything he said. I'd just be listening. And then, how did you guys do on your Millennium Falcon rides? Because it is a game too. Yeah, you are.
Yes, and it's a cooperative one, so things can get pretty dicey depending on how different people are doing. I did one run on my first day, and we were the engineers. And my boyfriend gets motion sickness on motion simulator rides, so like I one time went to Disneyland and rode Star Tours 15 times in a row to try and be the rebel spy, and I still wasn't. But I was 2 days later, so I can't complain now. But he rides Star Tours once every 6 trips because it makes him sick. But he was the engineer, which you're in the back row, and you have if you're actually trying to do it, you've got tons of buttons to press because it's the Millennium Falcon, something's always breaking down. And if your pilot is constantly bumping into things, which can happen if you have 5-year-old pilots. And not 5-year-old pilots too, let's be fair. Even more blinky lights happen and you're constantly having to try and control things. So he was like, this was the best ever. I was so into pushing the buttons and making sure that the Falcon was still running that I didn't get motion sick at all.
I was wondering how that is.
So
that's awesome.
I liked it because there was always something happening. I did Gunner was what I did on my last go, and Julian also did Gunner. He did it with the having to aim, and he was like, "That's really hard." I did auto. On the other hand, I did auto aim, and I was like, "Auto aim is kind of boring." So your mileage may vary.
Fair enough,
but. I mean, there's stuff to shoot at for most of it. Supposedly, you can hold down the button, and it'll just shoot. But it turns out that at the very end of the ride, you'll get docked for wasting ammo.
I love how thought through everything is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the thing. At the end of the ride, you get a payout based on like how much you were successful at the mission. How much did you steal? But then you get docked for like here are the repairs or your wasted ammo, or so your credits, which is what your score translates to, is dependent on what you did and how you did it. So
That's so cool. When they were telling us about this stuff ahead of time, I heard a rumor that it was going to be if you did poorly on the ride, they were going to have somebody like track you down. Is that true, or do you think it's just this docked point system?
at the moment, not so much.
Okay.
But like if you opened the Play Disney app to the data pad and took the job, eventually Hondo does give you those credits.
Okay.
Like I opened the app and like didn't really get to do much of the game in the queue because when we went on, it happened to be like near walk on, so we just went through it really fast, and then I didn't get anything then. But the next day I opened it while inside the park. And it was like, oh, here's your money. So it does have a system and it does track it. So they've definitely got something in place where presumably with the right equipment, a cast member can like scan your data pad and see, hey, this person's been doing well at the ride or not.
Gotcha.
We'll see how they implement it as time passes. I mean, there's some other characters we've been told should show up wandering around who we haven't seen yet. So it's probably something that will get rolled out. I mean, after all, we've still got a second ride. So
right, with the Resistance ride. How was your Millennium Falcon journey, Georgie?
Mario, you can go first.
No, I do remember that Hondo does when you're about to get on the ride and he gives you your final briefing. He will comment on whether you are a veteran at this or a newbie, and sometimes will comment on how well you did. If you are like an entire party of veterans, he'll make a comment on whether you've done well for him before. So as I'm saying, they've clearly got a way to track your process, I think, if you've got the game running.
Okay.
So I think it's the kind of thing that I think can expand to other people in the land eventually. But Hondo remembers what you did.
That's really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, when we got on the ride, so just getting on the ride was a story and a half because waiting for this, because we went to get this first, right? So we got our appointment with Savvy, and then they were like, come back at 6:30, right? Like in like 20 minutes. Yeah. And then you'll go in. So we like got some Melu Run juice and adopted a Tuca, and then we went back.
That's one does.
And then they didn't tell us how it was going to work, that they take in each group and then it takes 30 minutes. And we were the third group. So we were waiting there for like an hour and a half. So by the time we were done with this, the next group was coming in because it was the last hour. So we had an hour left. We're like, okay, let's go. We'll ride. It'll be okay. But then they didn't let us get on because they're like, oh, we don't take your wristband after the next group comes in. And we were like, what? We didn't know. Can you just let us in anyway? We're only 3 people. But he was like, nah. So he was like, come back in 15 minutes and blah, blah, blah. So then we talked to someone else and she was like, just get in line. We'll get you on. And then because of that, we did get on and we were in the front. Someone saw our wristbands, was like, no. And we're like, but we didn't get on. And they're like, okay, let me ask. So then she asked the guy and the guy was like, no. And we're like, come on, like,
what's wrong with you guys?
Just go. Yeah, and then he just let us go. We're like, thank you. We want to ride. And then, so the wait went from 10 minutes to like an hour. And then the ride like broke down, or the line didn't move for like 35 minutes. Oh, okay. But once we did get on, me and my mom got to be the pilot, and I was like, oh, I don't care anymore. Like, that was too amazing. And then, because we got the pilot, and I was like, what? No way. Because they give you like a little card with what position you have. Okay. And then we're like, what? And then when it was time to like go inside, I was like, oh, snap. Like, it's right there. Like, you just sit down and you're in it. And I was like, which one do I want to go on? I was like, wait, Hondo's on the left, so I'm going to go there. And then it was so much fun. And it was kind of hard because the left pilot controls like the left to right, and then the right
Okay.
controls up and down. And it was kind of intense because you have to like go off what the other person's doing. So like at first I went left, and then my mom went like up. And then because of that, I thought she was gonna go down. So because of that, we hit something, but we did pretty good for most of the ride. Like we were able to like kind of figure it out. And then there's a bunch of buttons that you have to press, like in the movies. And then when you do the hyperspace, you like pull down the lever. So
Yeah.
Honda was like, "Okay, left pilot, push the button." And I was like, "Which button?" And I couldn't find it. And because I couldn't find it, we crashed like on the floor and everything.
True.
Like it just stopped. Just L3 was like, "I don't care anymore. You guys suck." And then I was like, "I'm sorry," and I just like looked down with embarrassment.
I love
It was so great. But we ended up getting both shipments, so like we won, yay. But then at the
Yeah.
end we got docked a lot. It was like, "You crashed twice." Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Whoops.
we had one ride where our little pilot didn't take us into hyperspace properly. Whoops! Suddenly we had to fight off more TIE fighters. Whoops!
Oh man, that's hilarious.
So I mean, like again, the mission Hondo gives you is the same mission, but it won't necessarily go the same way at all.
I didn't even know that that's how it worked. I was wondering,
That's really
is
cool.
it really gonna be different? It can be.
Yeah,
It's great.
because if a person pilots a certain way, all bets are off. Or if a gunner decides, I'm not going to shoot anything, you're going to take a lot of damage.
That's what I love about the ride. It's just like it's like a game pretty much, but you're
Yeah.
actually controlling how it goes. And it's just like I didn't see that coming, so it was just like
And Carlos in chat brings up a cool point that as you leave the Falcon, the state of the hallway is different depending on how well you did, which is a really cool detail.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, if you do particularly badly, there'll be like blinking lights, and you'll hear announcements calling in technicians to start repairing the YT freighter because they need to get it back in shape before Chewbacca shows up and tears off.
Okay.
The queue is crazy too, because you go around the Millennium Falcon, but then you go through a whole like docking area, and you hear like other members of Hondo's company talking to each other about shipments, or like one of the announcements, a guy found what was clearly a porg. And but he didn't know that. The other guy's like, "Don't touch it! Don't touch it!" So there's little details all over the place. And since when I went on, each time happened to be during the low period, I was going through pretty fast. But there's at least stuff to look at, listen to, and entertain you when the lines eventually get crazy. So that's pretty fun.
That's crazy. And then there's also like shows throughout. Well, not shows is the wrong word, but like there's a story from the start of the day to the end of the day, right? And you'll see.
Yeah.
Georgie's
Sorry.
I know, Georgie turned sideways, so I'm like,
I don't know how to fix it.
Just sit on your wall; it'll be fine.
Yeah.
What?
Just reorient yourself.
Yeah, you know, turn yourself 90 degrees, and
there you go. There's this idea that the resistance has been there for a bit, and though I guess we'll see more of that once the second ride opens, because apparently a good chunk of the queue is going to be us walking through the resistance base.
Yeah.
According to Delilah and her lovely book.
That's cool.
But the First Order has only recently arrived.
Okay.
And set up their own little, so they took over a docking bay, and they're after someone there. And so there's kind of this bigger story going on while you happen to be visiting Batuu that day. And so as a result, you might encounter different people. There's stormtroopers will be patrolling an area. or Chewbacca might have to come out and repair something. It's nothing has like a set time, and there's no set meet and greets like show up between 9 and 7 and meet Darth Vader.
Right.
But if you're in the right place and also the right area, oh look, someone's sneaking around trying to like. I think that's a resistance spy trying to find out what the First Order is doing there. So we've got that.
The level of detail is just astounding.
It's frankly it's insane. It's completely bonkers. Like at every Docs is of course the crowning one with all his personal things, but like at any store you'll want to look up and at the walls to see other things that the proprietor has that might not be for sale but they've collected or they're in the process of making, or an even weirder creature in the creature shop. Like what is that in that cage up there, and is it gonna try and eat us?
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay, so I hadn't read the Galaxy's Edge comic before the day we went, and I was like, I should try to read this. So I was reading it like in the car a little bit, and I was like, oh, I didn't know it was the sequel trilogy. If I knew, I would have read it earlier because I love the First Order and everything.
Right.
Mariella just like rolling her eyes. Anyway, so when we were waiting. We were waiting to get in, and I was like, oh, let me read, because he had like 45 minutes. So I read the first 2 issues, and I was like, wow, this is great. I need more. And I thought like Doc was really cool, and all the stories and how they were like tying it in with like old stuff and like how he got certain things. So then when we went to his shop, and I was like, whoa, and then I turned and I saw the animatronic. I was like, what? He looks amazing. I want to like feel it.
It's like it's a real Thorian, like
it
right
was like
there.
surreal, because it like to me it was like I read a book character and then I walked and saw the character, even though it wasn't created in that order, but like still.
But there he is in his shop, talking to his workers who will happily yell back at him. At least when I was there.
So. I heard a rumor too, I saw on Twitter somebody was saying that inside the cantina there's even marks on the walls that are like from Thrawn alliances.
So I'm told. I never slept in there.
That's what I heard too.
Yeah.
But there's some damage outside the cantina, which that certain book that comes out in August tells you how that damage. That one's a little more recent.
Quick, grab your arc again.
This Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Black Spire on sale August 27th from Del Rey Books.
Neat.
They're not even paying me. Someone gave me that as a gift.
They had I think they had arcs for Crash of Fate too.
Oh, did you? I don't know what you're talking about. Do you mean a Crash of Fate due out August 6th from Disney Lucasfilm Press?
I want it so bad.
Oh, so excited.
A young adult novel that takes place mostly over one particularly crazy day on Black Spire Outpost.
Ooh.
You know what I like about that author? During the panel at Celebration, they were asking all the authors, the publishing panel, they're asking all the authors like their story getting into books. And I think it was that author. She said that her first Star Wars book was Lost Stars by Claudia Gray, and that she loved like romance and Star Wars. And then they said that her book was a YA kind of like a love story, whatever. I haven't read it, but I was like, that's kind of cute that's how she got into it. And then she's writing a book kind of like that. Like I like that story.
That's so
and it is. It definitely is.
I'm excited. It, like inevitably with Star Wars books, I'm always torn between getting to meet new voices and wanting the voices I already love to return.
Being like, give me more Claudia. please, I want more books by her. Announce a new one for me, please.
Right.
Even though you're also like, I'm sure Claudia wants to write her own stuff too.
I mean, pretty much if Claudia and Kevin wrote everything, I wouldn't complain, but there's also a lot of other authors.
We do like other authors too.
We like other authors.
We really do. We really do love you guys.
Oh man. So what about Did you guys get to try the green and blue milk?
Mm-mm.
I only got to try the green milk.
Okay. No, it's actually coconut milk, right? Not dairy milk.
It's apparently it's a coconut and rice blend, both of them, in order to make the actual base, and then it's different flavoring.
Okay.
With different, it's still all vegetable based.
Mm-hmm.
You have to dig around to actually see what the different things are.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tried some of the green milk, and it was interesting. Some people apparently have become very taken with mixing the two of them. Apparently, that's what I've been hearing lately. Yeah, so they apparently they buy each and then they get a separate cup and then they like layer it. Is what I've seen a lot of people put up pictures. So it's not like people don't do crazy food hacks. So I should have seen that one coming. But main thing is that it's kind of a smoothie consistency. Mm-hmm. With the idea being that, you know, hot, humid day in Florida, you won't want to drink milk. Like, as somebody who drinks chocolate milk under any circumstance, I don't understand this.
I mean, that was the thing. I was very relieved to find out it was plant-based milk. So I was like, how are they going to, like, avoid lawsuits with dairy in Anaheim and Orlando?
I was going to say, even being coconut and rice, I go on boards and they're like, well, how come they didn't make one without coconut? And they're like, we can only do so much when you have to make giant batches.
Right.
Apparently, for the blue milk, if you're like think you like the taste, but you're not a fan of the consistency, and you actually made it into the cantina, one of their non-alcoholic beverages is basically a non-smoothified blue milk drink.
Makes sense.
So, and I've seen some people who like that better, I guess, because consistency. They liked it better as a liquid as opposed to a smoothie.
Makes sense.
Then apparently it comes with a cookie. So
well, that's settles it.
I'm dying to get my hands on a bloody Rancor. So that's one of my goals in Florida because I'm pretty good with Bloody Marys, and so this sounds fantastic to me and just ridiculous. So good luck. I did not make it into. You know what? Oh. Here, hold on one moment.
I'm still sad. I didn't get to try the blue milk or the green milk because after the lightsaber, we went to the restroom.
I knew I forgot a prop.
Gonna go to the Falcon ride, but that's when everyone from the next group started pouring in. So we're like, oh crap! So then we went to the line, and then the line for the green milk just got like so long. I was like, it's okay, it's not
worth it.
Yeah, it's the milk lines have been very, very fluctuating, and there are other points that you've got like 3 people there working the milk stand going. Like everybody comes in and goes for the milk, and then they all got their milk. But someone else who was there that day did go to the cantina and did get me the Cliff Dweller Port collectible mug, which is ceramic, so it's not even cheapo plastic, and it's totally made like it's carved out of wood.
That's so cool.
That's awesome.
One bit that I didn't learn until I was reading on Twitter, because apparently they told the authors, is there's a stand in the marketplace near the exit to the marketplace. It just has a whole bunch of wooden carvings, as if somebody works there but it's just walked away, and that's apparently the wooden Wookiee. And let's just say, whoever works at the Wooden Wookiee has been taken by porks.
So. Interesting.
Yeah. So if anybody watching hasn't gone and you walk by there, you show off your knowledge by going, yeah, I just walked by the Wooden Wookiee. They had some nice stuff there. I'm sure the cast members will like that.
There you go.
It's actually been pretty impressive, like how much the cast knows. Because where did it go? Where'd she go? Here she is. Here's my MJ2. I'm walking back to the hotel carrying her, and the DJ at Downtown Disney goes, oh yeah, somebody went by, I think it's Muto's Droid Depot, and I was like, dude, you even know who the proprietor is, and he doesn't even work at Galaxy's Edge.
That's really cool.
Yeah, like I'm walking around with Filbert, who's my Build-A-Bear turtle, and then so one of the citizens of Batu came by and asked if it was somebody who I adopted from Bina's creature stall, and I was like, no, this is my son.
I love it.
So they know their town. They definitely know their town.
Yeah.
I had a question because I've seen everyone takes pictures of their wristbands, and it has all the different planets on it. Is that just a sorting mechanism, or do the planets on the wristbands have meaning? Like I know.
I missed the question.
I think it's just for your time slot.
Okay.
Like that's what you get. Your time. Everybody has that same planet.
So, like, what planet did you get on your wristband?
I knew you were gonna ask me. I don't remember. It was like some deep cut from Rebels. You probably remember, Mario.
Mine are great. Mine were great. My first one was Nal Hutta.
Love it.
And my second one was Kessel.
Nice.
So I was like, oh yeah, I'm all about the underworld and the sauce trade. And
so you were with the Hutts, and then you got sent to Kessel.
And or I made a deal with the Pikes.
What? Yeah. Also,
maybe they made an alliance. You know, sometimes a fragile alliance for a little while. You know,
I feel like
shadow collective.
I would super like come up with a background based off of that band, 100%. And there were some really good ones. Like there were some I've seen planets from Bloodline.
They had Jelucan from Lost Stars was one of the first ones I saw when they started doing the cast member previews. So yeah, whoever compiled that list was like, Tatooine? Why just do Tatooine when I can do these deep cuts? It's like, and some of them is literally been like, this was mentioned in Twilight Squadron. Me. What?
Yeah, I was hoping I would get one that I recognized, and I got one that was just name dropped in that Wedge episode of Rebels. I'm like, I don't know what this is. Like,
one from the Sky Strike Academy episode.
Yeah, that one. It's just name dropped, but I don't remember.
It's fair. I would laugh. My luck is I would get there and I would get Batu, and I'm just from a different part of Batu. Oh man.
Yeah, it's basically, from what we can tell, it's just another control factor to keep people from duplicating. So it's like the colors do eventually, like there's always a different color each time slot every day.
Yeah.
But they will cycle day to day. But then they write on it the time period of the day and the planet, and I guess it just makes it harder for someone to go and try and make a copy. I mean, you also have to get past the QR scanner, but people are crazy.
That's true. So you had mentioned before the app. How is the app something that you absolutely have to use the park? Is it just a way to enhance the park? You didn't use it. It's too cool for this app. You got burned out on the Celebration app. You're like, I'm not doing Star Wars.
Well, I opened it and I was like, oh, this is cool, but it was like so complicated. There was just so much to it, and I'm like, I don't want to like work for this Hondo or whatever. I'm like, it's fine. Like, it was just too much. It was like, scan the box that you find somewhere near Savvy. Like, I'm all right. I'll just sit here. Like, but it sounds fun. It's just, I was like, I'm too lazy, you know?
Unlike Georgie, I've been doing stuff on the Play Disney Parks app pretty much since they started it. Obnoxiously collecting badges for riding rides or being in the park during an event. I literally spent one day in Orlando, which, mind you, someone else was doing something in Orlando, so I tagged along. So this isn't me like being like, I'm gonna buy a ticket to Orlando and do so. But I went from Animal Kingdom to Hollywood Studios to Epcot to Magic Kingdom and did one thing in each park so that I could get a badge saying I'd been there during Christmas season, and then went back to New York.
Nice.
So they've got a pretty extensive navigator kind of a thing for it in the Pandora area of Animal Kingdom, so that you can learn all about the crazy Pandoran plant and wildlife, and also entertain yourself on the incredibly long line for the ride. And I think that's one of the things that it's going to be most useful for, is once the reservations are over and there's like who knows how many people, you'll be standing in line for the Millennium Falcon for who knows how long. Each section of the queue has a section of the game where either Hondo or one of his employees asks you to do something, which will also, if you do it successfully, will unlock things. You can unlock pieces of star maps or the diagnostic, not the diagnostic, the schematics for ships. Yes, I'm like, it's the thing with the it shows you where the things are in the flaggy thing, English. I've only been speaking it since I was 4. And then they've got lots of like interactive elements throughout the land. But we barely touched it on the first day because we spent 2 hours in line for Savi's.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like ask me, like, did I eat anything on day 1? No. Nope. I was making a droid while everyone else was eating everything. Whoops! Knocking over all the things here. So the second day, while we managed to not get into the cantina, we did try and do more things with the app. And oddly, Julian got to do more than I did because my phone was being buggy but yeah, they've got there are cargo crates all through the land, and if you scan them, you get items in the cargo crates. And as you do jobs for different people, they post jobs. Sometimes they ask for things. Like, I know someone posted on Twitter, and then it was mentioned by Matt Martin, that Pikpa, the Ewok slicer from Last Shot, asks for if anyone can get her a hang glider. Well, I haven't run into Pikpa's job yet, but I have found a hang glider, so I've got a hang glider ready for her as soon as I can get that job. And I know Julian was constantly hacking terminals, because there's a game that runs on cycles where you try and take over the outpost, either for the Resistance or the First Order, by like basically redoing the terminals so they're spying for your side, or spying for the First Order, or killing those things. And so he was going around constantly doing little puzzles to hack the terminals, and then they change colors depending on which side. So you literally can walk by and be like, oh, the First Order has all of these red terminals. And at the very end, just before we got kicked out, we figured out that part of the noises that this little girl was apparently making was when we were walking by all the comm towers, because it turns out we can tune the comm towers with the app and intercept messages and de-scramble them.
That is so cool.
And I was like, oh, so you've been trying to tell me to do this all day, and we just haven't been paying attention to you. I'm really sorry, sweetheart.
And that's such my favorite idea of this park is, parks like this are famous for lines, and you spend so much time, but it sounds like you can spend a whole day not even being in line for anything, like literally just walking around.
Absolutely. So and that's going to be said. It's when you've got a 4-hour time period and you're like, I got to make a droid, I got to do this here. Yeah. It's not surprising a lot of people haven't done much with it, but said a lot of little things are interactive. And as you do things, like we retuned a comm tower, and like the gonk droids by it started making noises, and people came by and were like, what? Why are the droids moving now? And we were like,
oh, cool. Oh, man.
So yeah, there's little things hidden all over the place that will happen. If you've ever been to, I don't know if you've ever been to the World Showcase at Epcot, they've got this Agent Peas from Phineas and Ferb game. And which you also can now play on your phone using that same app. And as you do things there's all sorts of things hidden throughout the World Showcase that look normal, and then suddenly like Harry will pop up, or Doofenshmirtz will appear in a window about to set off his whatever inator. And but in this case, everything is the Star Wars theme. So it's like Star Wars noises, droids, tech, causing something to burst out in steam a la Star Wars. So I said, I haven't even found half the stuff. So I said, we literally figured out how the tuning worked. Again, literally, it was like, oh, we're supposed to be leaving because we're already done. Oh, wait, I figured out where we can tune something. Well, let's do this before they kick us out. So there's plenty for me to go back and try and fiddle with on the app, which hopefully won't crash so much. And it's designed, that particular section is even designed, even called the data pad. So totally made to be in universe.
Yep.
Did you try the Melu run, Jace?
I did not.
No, it was so. I'm not a sweet person, but that drink is just. I want more. And one I thought it was kind of adorable because the people, the cashier, like none of them could say Melu run. They would go like Melu run, or they would go like Melu run. It was so funny. I was like, oh, you're trying.
Well, it is Star Wars, where two characters pronounce Jakku differently in the same scene
But
within
like, they
seconds.
Would skip letters, and it was just so adorable.
Well, it's clearly just the dialect in Batu just skips those letters. That must be it. Now, I did get to try the Ronto wrap, which I like. Julian liked the breakfast version better, but I liked it. And I did get to try, which tastes the same, but in its nifty container, Space Coke and Space Sprite.
Space Coke.
Yes.
Oh,
Space Coke! It's canon! But the person who we were hanging out with on the first day, but she wasn't building a lightsaber, so she did things like go to Sabi. She actually went to Docking Bay 7 and ordered a ton of food, but they ate it all before I made it out of the droid workshop. So next time, I want to see what cookie can cook up.
All right.
I know, me too.
We are coming up on an hour, so before because I know we could probably keep going forever, but if if each of you had what's one thing you really wanted to talk about that you haven't gotten to say that you would just think people should know about Galaxy's Edge.
If you don't want cast members to talk to you all the time, or if you're just trying to be more quiet, don't wear this. Everybody was going up to me like, "Oh, I see you have a droid on your head." I'm like, "Dang it! Why did I wear this?" But it was fun because in the beginning, I'm not creative enough to have an in-universe conversation and think of stuff. So one guy outside of Sabi's who worked there, he was like, "Oh, I see you have a droid on your head." And I was like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Does it work?" No, he was like, you should go build a droid shop. And I was like, all right. So how does making a lightsaber work? So next time if I go, I'm not gonna wear it because I don't I can't. I'm not creative enough. I'm sorry, I can't act.
Oh man, I love it.
Whereas I like the fact that everybody at the moment is so in universe that even if you don't want to interact that way, you get quoted the prices and credits. If you are trying to get your annual pass holder discount, you want to present your off-world credentials to do that. So, and one of the craziest and an interaction that didn't require you to interact that happened was there may or may not be at one point in a Blackspire outpost a certain water area that a Dianoga is stuck in.
Ooh.
And we had one guy who clearly has been hired by the people working at the marketplace to sweep up, keep the area clean, and he's doing that over by the refreshers. And then he looks up and he sees a Dianoga and he takes his broom and starts whacking, going, "Hey, Tiny, get out of there! Out!" It's great. It's
That's
totally
hilarious.
being how dare you get inside my beautiful pipes. There's just so many little things, and the people working there right now are doing such an amazing job of realizing this living, breathing outpost
That's so
on
cool.
the edge of space that has the great misfortune of suddenly having a lot of attention put on it. Great for sales, not so great for stormtroopers marching around.
Right.
And you never know. I mean, you turn around and suddenly there's Rey teaching somebody about the fundamentals of the Force. So, or Kylo Ren glowering at everyone, you don't know. Things just sort of happen as they would happen when you're walking around New York. Only it's Black Spire.
That's so cool. That is so cool. Well, I want to thank you both for being here, coming on, chatting with us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So great. If you guys are interested in hearing more from our friends, their links to their Twitter profiles are in the description as well as under their faces. We're usually chattering away there or in the Discord server somewhere at most hours of the day. So I highly recommend. But I think that's what we're gonna do. In theory, we're gonna have another stream. We'll have 2 StreamCasts this week, try to make up for our technical problems. So we should still be doing an episode, normal time, normal day. But we'll see.
Yes. Good luck with your Dooku loss.
Yeah, whenever that happens, Jedi lost. Every time we've tried to do it, it's failed. So.
Oh no.
It's not fair. It's not fair.
You can do it.
We're gonna try that out, and if for some reason you're watching this and you're wondering where your aftermath video is, we're gonna do this week's aftermath video tomorrow. But that's really what we have. But yeah, thank you so much. If you're in the chat, if you haven't already, please like the stream or dislike it. It's fine. You won't hurt my feelings. And make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. And I think we're gonna call it there. So thank you so much, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Can't smile. Bye.